Stoicism, one of the oldest philosophical schools, originated in Athens and continues to have a profound influence on modern thinking. The main focus of this philosophy is the management of anxieties and control over one's inner state. According to the Stoics, most of the problems that disturb modern people exist only in their imagination. Just consider that 100 years ago, people had to fight for survival in conditions of hunger and disease. Today, even with comfort and abundance, we are more anxious and nervous. The reason is simple. Instead of overcoming real threats, as our ancestors did, today's society creates enemies that are impossible to defeat, consuming energy in the process. Our fears are often unrelated to survival, but more about social status or others' opinions. The Stoics argue that mastering our fears leads to inner peace, making us happier and more effective. In this section, we'll examine 3 foundational Stoic techniques to help manage fear and anxiety. By mastering them, you'll overcome worries, stop wasting time on empty thoughts, and focus on reaching your goals. First, the principle of true desire. The first technique, the principle of desire, emphasizes following true aspirations and setting aside fears. The Stoics suggest imagining scales, with your desires on one side and fears and doubts on the other. The more desire outweighs fear, the easier it is to achieve what brings joy and fulfillment. But if fear outweighs desire, you'll be fixated on the fears, making it hard to attain what you want. How can you use this? Separate what's essential from what's extraneous, consciously focusing on what truly matters for your goals. Imagine, for instance, that in an emergency like a fire, everyone around is in panic. Only someone who can remain calm and see the essential steps will respond effectively. This is the true strength of the principle of desire, to know what you really want, focus on it, and remove unnecessary fears. 2. The principle of justice and the technique of conditional actions. The second technique, justice, is central to Stoic behavior and concerns, taking actions that bring maximum benefit. In Stoicism, justice does not imply the principle of you do something for me and I do something for you. Instead, the Stoics believe that it's important to act beneficially without expecting something in return. An example of this principle is the technique of conditional action. It consists of framing a task as, I will accomplish this if nothing stands in my way. This makes it easier to handle unexpected obstacles while continuing with your goals. Rather than exhausting yourself with a relentless pursuit of results, conditional action frees you from unnecessary stress. When setting tasks, consider the possibility of unforeseen circumstances. Surprisingly, this not only conserves energy, but also leads to better results. 3. The technique of being in the moment. The third technique, staying here and now, is crucial for tackling difficult tasks. The Stoics claim that 90% of our time is spent worrying before we begin, while only 10% is used to accomplish the task itself. Such a focus hurts productivity and results in wasted time. Without the ability to be present, there's a risk of looking back someday and realizing that a significant part of life was spent on anxiety, not real achievements. To change this, imagine your life as a timeline and mark the moment happening now. Any anxiety loses its weight when seen against the span of an entire lifetime. For instance, if you're anxious about an upcoming interview, ask yourself, will this worry help? Most of the time, the best thing you can do is rest, so you're fresh and collected for important events. Conclusion. Stoicism offers useful techniques to control emotions and inner turmoil, forming a foundation for a balanced and productive life. The principle of true desire teaches us to follow our values without letting fear take over. The principle of justice guides us to act thoughtfully, with consideration, without overextending ourselves. And the technique of being in the moment helps prevent fixation on worries, allowing us to focus on current tasks. These techniques can be applied daily to remain calm, focused, and fulfilled in any circumstances.